Okay, hi everyone. I had sound issues, so I hope now it's solved. Had to start again several times, but it's not your problem. Right, so this is a kind of sequel, bonus, call it how you will, video following the latest one about the challenge One Distillery for the Rest of Your Life by Jeff Whisky. And I encourage you to see all the people. I don't know who did the list, someone's got to do the list, but it's not me who launched the challenge. So anyways, so I'm gonna present you two brands, one following the previous video. So Spirit of Yorkshire, very quickly, but just to explain why again I did choose them, because maybe some didn't understood it, and also it's a segue to today's topic, which is a kind of more fun and, let's say, experimental take on Glenmorangie, but it's easier to see Glenmorangie for this video, let's say. The idea came out when I got some comments under the video. Thanks everyone for the comments, by the way, which I had to explain again why I did choose Spirit of Yorkshire as something potentially that could be the only one for the rest of my life, which is again a stupid idea, so to speak, because nobody will stick to one brand only, except, I mean, there are collectors who focus on one brand and collect everything they can from one brand. I know some. There's one, I think it's Luc Timmermans, who focuses on Lefroy and has every Lefroy possible he can find, but it doesn't have a lot of other whiskies, I think. The thing is, for the tasting today, I'm going to do 3 quick tastings instead of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got somewhere around 11, 12 if I count the different batches of Glenmorangie. I cannot do them in a single video, rather in 2, but it's gonna be 3. So one quick today tasting of 2 Glenmorangies and 1 Filey Bay. Again, I explain why in a second. But I'm gonna still present the distillery today, but I'm gonna do a poll after the video to ask you which video you want first. Maybe the one about the 10 years old and around it video, or the one about more demanding expressions from the private edition series, which I have 3 bottlings. Right, so first, so kind of disclaimer, why did I choose, let me put a bottle there, and what are we tasting today is a re-review 1.5 years after of this, but we're gonna do that later on. So this is an English distillery, Glenmorangie is a Scottish distillery. Why this comparison's not really a comparison, but I'm gonna compare something to kind of propose you kind of unedited, a new idea of revamping collection, core range collection of Glenmorangie for fun. But yeah, it's free consultancy as well, if I may say. So what can I say? Both share a very refined approach and the search for a very delicate spirit, and I'll explain you in a minute how Glenmorangie obtains its delicate spirits with its very long stills. But for Filey Bay, I did a video in which I explain this process, particular still process, so I'm not gonna go into that now. Further, I mean, I'm gonna put videos in the description as always. But yeah, why Filey Bay as the distillery for the rest of our life? And I think the answer is on the picture there. Last time, indeed, I forgot to mention, and I have tons of infos there, and of course, when I'm looking for it, I don't find it. Yeah, okay, I got it. I forgot to mention, so they had the flagship there with bourbon casks. So why I choose them? First, because they're delicate, they're great spirit, they're made with, it's farm to bottle, farm to glass, field to bottle. There's so many expressions, marketing expressions, but that translate the reality. Because they have in the core range and the extended core range to yearly limited edition bourbon cask, sherry, which can be PX, Fino, Loros, or it depends on the release, STR, Muscatel, Port, and a peated finish as well. So here you have also an exclusive single cask for France, but they are for different countries. Here it's Salon du Gars, which I will be attending in 2 weeks now. There you can see brand ambassadors Jenny in clear blue and Amy in dark blue showing, and look at this, how many bottles in the core range, and how very distinctive label wise, presentation wise they are. I mean, it's fantastic. Same like Cotswolds, but maybe more, even more defined than Cotswolds on the front label, I mean. So this is very educational. So I showed you that it's going to change. It has changed already, but you will find all these informations about the process, production methods in a single image now. I don't have a recent release yet. They haven't touched France apparently, or we'll find out in 2 weeks what we can get here. Because always some delay, some time before what's in the UK comes here distribution wise. Right, so you know everything now about Filey Bay, if I may say. Lovely bottle glass as well. Yeah, let's put it there, but I'm gonna try it for last today, because ABV of this one, Yorkshire Day 2023, is 55% ABV. So I'm gonna try something else first. 2 Glenmorangies, I mean, and sorry. Looking at what I could try today, before too much breaking the idea of the two next videos about Glenmorangie, I thought maybe I could review whiskies that I have not reviewed yet. Weirdly as it sounds, I have notes on my website. There might not be ones for this. Where it is? Oh, man. Original. It's a 2012 release, but I tried some more recent. It's not that different, so I think the notes can be relevant. Since then, though, yes, there have been some switching, let's say, I don't know how to call that. There's been some, again, revamp with, you know, the letters are bigger, and it has been, again, rebranded. And they replaced the 10 years old, the original, by the 12 years old that is not a finish, but has a bit the look of the finishes from the core range. I don't have it yet. When I will have it, I will compare it to this. But the 12 is kept for the retailers, while the 10 is still a lot of them here, at least in France, in hyper supermarkets. and shops, online shops everywhere. So I don't think they're gonna bring it widely until the LVMH, the owner, gets to sell a lot of these. And even I'm not sure they will replace it in the supermarket. Anyway, so I have to explain my relationship with Glenmorangie, but before, very quickly, and I'll go back to it, but it's better if I present you the whiskies first. So the idea was to revamp the core range, and I worked on it a few days ago, and I came out with a kind of ideal core range according to me and according to the history of distillery, which is two different things. And I came out with this list that I will show you again. And also I had to dig to find out the this is my collection, and on the bottom of the collection, the new part is I had to find out all the private edition that has been released, and also I'm trying to list all the new A Tale of Something collection. I found 5 different ones for now, but yeah, trying to gather information about Glenmorangie. Don't want to be too long in the presentation, but my relationship with Glenmorangie now. My relationship with Glenmorangie is a kind of affective, sensitive, not love affair, but some very significant of my early days. I mean 1998 or so years ago, I started to discover whiskey, so to speak. Not really to start a big whiskey journey, but it's still a start. I made videos, I have a text on my website, whiskey website about it. I'm not gonna go back to it, but to put a long story short, Glenmorangie, as they say, so the Valley of Tranquility, was the first distillery, non-whiskey distillery, distillery, because I visited non-whiskey distilleries before in France, but it was my first Scottish distillery and my first trip to Scotland. How did I went there in 2002? I bought a blended malt with a weird name called Glenvegan, 12 years old. And there was this, it's in French, a weekend en Écosse à gagner, a weekend in Scotland to win. And yes, 2 round trips, so me and a friend, to visit Glenmorangie, and yes, I got this after. So yeah, it's very old style, you know. And I had the immense chance to show you a few things. Yeah, so visit the distillery. This is the entry of the distillery at that time. Where do we have? Not gonna go too long in the history, but 16 Main of Tain, which founded the distillery, they gave us this too. And also, where is it? So many information I cannot. Where is this? I haven't looked at this for a while, to be honest. So, a very nice book about. Oh yeah, so you have the map, but I'm gonna show you it again. Before, so Glenmorangie, Northern Highlands, more precisely the Tain village. Whoops, and I know now what I wanted to search and I forgot. Up, so Northern Highlands, very close to Balblair Distillery. Yeah, I'm gonna show you something after. So there's a beautiful here local map they did. And yeah, it's a 5-star accommodation. Look at this. I was privileged to sleep there, eat there, and let me tell you, it was unforgettable. Also, at that time, master distiller and blender, if I'm not mistaken, was someone who's famous now for working with Tomarin. If I'm not mistaken, maybe he has left already, but he did also work for Highland Park, I think. Graham Munson was a man from the north, and at that time, 2002, the distillery was not owned yet by LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy French luxury company group, but so two groups merging together, Louis Vuitton for luxury things, bags, etc., and Moet Hennessy for champagne, but also the Hennessy Cognac distillery. And it was the Glenmorangie PLC group who owned the distillery at that time, and they also owned Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. So we had a masterclass about the three brands. Long story, I'm not gonna dive into it. Maybe for the book I'm supposed to write at some point about my memories in whiskey. If I manage to convince a publisher or find funds to do it, I don't know yet. I might also associate with someone else. It's too soon to tell, but there's some exciting projects from other people that might coincide with mine or not. We'll see. No, it's not a spoiler yet because things are just starting to... I just lighted the big Marmite, and I don't know what's in there exactly yet, and who will run the fire to pursue that image. So yeah, I'm gonna show you. It's a heavy book. I love this old book because lots of information in there. So Graham Malt Whisky, A Taste of Scotland, published decades ago. When was it published? Am I gonna lose time for that? Graham, 1998, 2003. So it's British Library. No, it's Crowwood Press Limited. So where is it? Yes. Yeah, no editing, as you know, so it doesn't make things easier, and I had hours of preparation still for this. Look at this. So the famous stills, which gin stills, and they're called giraffe stills because they're very long neck as the animal, and you can see the old labels, but those old labels I also have some on the table, mind you, because I've been collecting Glenmorangie since 2002, very limitedly at the beginning, and then a bit more, but not enough, but we'll get into that. At that time, this was the look of the 10 years old, mind you, so very old-fashioned, with the stills on the other side, but beautifully vintage. I think I have also some canisters, you cannot see them, but upstairs, empty of course, reclined, which are even older than that, 90s, etc., which I found in antique shops and markets. What do I want it? Yeah, also very shortly, I have a painting channel. I've been painting for decades, almost stopped now, let's say. And at that time, it was the beginning of the influence of whiskey in my painting, and it was a mind-blowing stay there for 2 days, a bit more, and in fact I did a lot of pictures. One of them, which I used to do this artwork, was even awarded in Whiskey Magazine and the Balvenie contest. And I did a lot of drawings, and this was with brush pen, special brush pen on the paper, letter paper they were giving us in the rooms, so you can barely see Glenmorangie on the top. But this is the view of the stills. At that time there was only 6 stills, now there are 12, but I will come back to that. If you're interested in my artwork, there's a link below. Again, there's art and whiskey related section. You can have some. Anyway, don't want to be too long on that, too personal maybe. So I'm struggling to start the things. Yeah, a bit of history before, but very quickly. 1843 is the date in which William Matheson, who was a farmer, did create the Glenmorangie distillery in Tain, in the north of the Northern Highlands. So Highlands category of whiskey, SWA wise. Current production is very high. I have to update my website as well. 7.1 millions of liters of pure alcohol in 2024 in the Malt Whisky Yearbook. They have a mash tun, a full Allta mash tun of 11.5 tons, so huge one. They have stainless steel washbacks. They have 12 of them. They have so 5 meters, 17 or 13 according to sources, meters high. Stills, so 2 pairs of 6 stills now. Some say the picture I showed you, it's the Cathedral of Stills. It's a nickname also of this still house. Then they build another distillery in 2021, a smaller one, and a brewery to help also experiment, but we'll get back to experiments later on about brewing, etc. And the lighthouse is the name of the old glass standing a bit like the gravity one of Madeira. And they have 2 stills which replicate the ones you just saw from the older distillery. So what they want to do there, experiment about fermentation times, different yeast, different barley maybe also. We'll get into that, and they have revamped all the range, like I said. And the idea here, after I present you the whiskies I will review, was to revamp myself the core range according to what they were before the LVMH makeover, and also what I consider maybe they should do according to their long-term history, and also because they were pioneers in finishing. Also, I did a video about pioneers in finishing in which I talked a lot about Glenmorangie, but it's a very old one, maybe not great sound, it's an image, etc. Anyway, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna give you a poll later on after the video is released, in which I'm gonna ask you which is the video you want to see first, considering I already reviewed where it is. I already reviewed the Glenmorangie 18, which was called at the time of my bottle, which is from 2012. Was called Extremely Rare, and I did a video called Demystifying Marketing Tricks. I think it's in the one. The one was about Glenmorangie and other brands, and specifically about this whiskey, which I said it is not extremely rare, sorry. And I don't know if it's because of me, I doubt, because revamping a makeover of marketing labels and stuff is constant every 10 years for some, every 2 or 3 for others. So it's no longer called extremely rare, but rather the Infinita. Guess why? I'd like to know if you know. Tell me in the comments. So I'm not going to review that. I'm not going to review the X, which I forgot to put on the table, but it's already been reviewed. Maybe in the live stream, I'm not sure. But the idea was to try the late 90s, early 2000, 10 years old. So its nickname for this one, I think, is some say the 16 Main of Tain. Others say fourth generation core range Glenmorangie 10. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna also compare it to something very interesting, which was a travel retail release. Was called Cellar 13, with a cellar close to the sea, because you might not know, but it's really close. I mean, this maybe 500 meters from the sea. So they did an experiment, and it's 43 instead of 40 and a liter. Very nice bottling. I still have, it's my last bottle of it. Then of course I'm going to compare it to the original. And last but not least, one of the very first finishes of Glenmorangie, but also of Scottish distilleries, and I will tell you that it's 1994, I think, Portwood, though they did experiment before with sherry. So this doesn't have an age statement, but it's what did I wrote? 12 to 14 years old, with a 2-year finishing. Right, so this is the poll 1, choice 1 or A, I don't know how YouTube will say it. Choice 2, and I'm gonna be diving a bit more now to explain why I'm a bit not pissed off, sorry, but a bit disappointed that they dropped this beautiful limited edition range, which was called Private Edition. I have 3. So the oldest I have, so it's number 2, I think. Yeah, I had to go back to this because I didn't remember the numbers of this. Let me put this out. I don't need this. So this is the fine Allta, which is my favorite of the 3 and probably of the 10 releases I tried. We'll explain. Oh, okay, let's explain now. So this one, I'm not going to review it today. I chose to review, by the way, aside from the Yorkshire, the Filey Bay, which is something different. I chose to quickly review today only the less expensive expressions of each thing I wanted to demonstrate. So I'm going to try the Allta, which is less expensive nowadays of the private edition I have. This is the most expensive in secondary market because it has been sold out quite quickly. I think the retailing the secondary market, or let's say on whiskey base, 300 to 400. So the fine Allta was a 12 years old plus American oak, ex-Bourbon, cask and Oloroso sherry recipe, but also very lightly peated, according to a recipe from 1903 that it found. This is a fantastic whiskey, the highly ranked Glenmorangie in my collection as well. So yeah, we're gonna try the Allta, which was using local wild yeast, which is fantastic, and the only one I think of the private edition selection, which is 51.2 and not 46% ABV. Also, the good news is that all this series is at least non-chill filtered. Not sure about the coloring, but it's non-chill filtered. The last one that we're gonna try, which you can find, the Allta is around 80 to 100 euros. I can still find it in French shops, very few, but and the to sell is around 120 to 160 still now available. So the to sell is the version with using Madeira barley and floor malted by hand, which is not the case for all the Glenmorangies. And we were going to finish off the tasting, but it's because the ABV is higher, the way we started with that. with a Yorkshire Day of Filey Bay from Spirit of Yorkshire Distillery, England and not Scotland, 2023, 55% ABV, so you understand why. And this was matured in bourbon cask, then in Madeira cask, and then finished in for 3 months again in bourbon cask. So kind of bit of like Amrut did. What was the name now? I forgot. Intermediate sherry, I think. Or was it with the Porto Nova? They did that as well, I think. So re-racking to recalibrate and find the correct balance. Right, 30 minutes without any tasting. What a shame. Okay. Where's my documentation? Where did I put that documentation? Man. To think I've worked with for something so long and at the last minute okay. So let's try to find it while I speak. So basically Glenmorangie was first experience to discover a Scottish brand with the core range, also going on the place it was made. There it is. And also meet the people who makes it. For me it was very important to do that. Discover the landscape, the people around. I had a warmest welcome ever. Also it was interesting. Hope you're still with me, by the way. I lost probably 80% of the viewers now. Okay, let's not be too dramatic, Greg. You have your audience still a few hundred maybe, and so this was a discovery of Glenmorangie, of Glenmorangie, of Ardbeg, but it was also a discovery of how things are made in a distillery, and also what is a distillery house style and how you can highlight it. I'm not sure we did try the new make at that point, but I have to speak about new make as well. Maybe I will do special video about the new make. Anyway, we have to try start. Okay, another segue. I'll do it later on. Okay, and another digression I will do later on because we're too late on. Okay, so we're gonna start with, so not this one, the original, which I had, what you can see there, by the way. Yeah, no, I wanted to, so yeah, I'm gonna speak about what the distillery brought to the world with the finishes, but after, maybe when I'll speak about the revamp. So later on in the video, I'm sorry. It was very difficult to, for me honestly, to put out this video because it was going all over the place topics wise, everything being related also. So I hope this still makes sense. I know some did complain in the past that it will go all over the place, but I will put timestamps in the description. So normally you should know where you're going. So if you think my videos are too long, you still have this possibility. If you still want to watch something, it's your choice. But I do appreciate if you try to watch at least some parts of it. Right. So 10 years old. What is this? The original? I don't think it has really changed. It's American white oak ex-Bourbon cask. Normally first fill, not 100% sure what it is now. 40% ABV, chill filtered and most likely colored. Yeah, the cork has changed a bit. It's still this one. When you have the private edition, you have a different corks. When you have the signet, I will talk about that later on, you also have a different cork. It's an issue because when they break, you cannot find the exact one you need. Yeah, I owe you an episode about whiskey preservation. I know that. Okay, so the original is topped by whiskey shared coin. I don't have my own coins, by the way. We still have these trusty glasses of Spiegelau, distributed by Ravinet, my partner for glasses here. So what do we got? With the trademark from Glenmorangie, this loads of vanilla and a creamy sherbet of lemon and other citrus fruit. And also some kind of indeed either, and I love because this is the note of Angelica that did really seduced me right from the start. There's some delicate spices there and botanicals, flowers. So yeah, though I got on the background, I get the Angelica, very light note, but maybe a bit of bergamot as well, but the leading, it's open for a long time. I did put out the air, but probably not enough. Yeah, also the herbal and floral element, which is typical from the Northern Highlands, as you know. At Balblair might be more pronounced with more spices and almost not gentian, but almost some drier herbs notes, as well as for Kleinlich, even if Kleinlich is known also for the wax. But first of all, it's an herbal Northern Highlands herbal, floral, and dried fruit stuff. Combo recipe, I don't know, yeah, combo. So we got this. I'm not going to dive too much because I'm going to do the video like I said, but very nice on the nose. Do I have notes for this? Because it's quite old. I'm not sure. I got to separate the notes now from the documentation because a lot of things to show you. My cut into it, because yeah, I had it in 12 for 22 euros 85 probably now. It was a bit, yeah, there was discount probably now around 40 euros I think. Yeah, so oranges, peaches and honey, I did note that as well. On the nose, on the palate, Saint-Java. Yeah, okay, it's diluted a bit too much, chill filtered, so you can feel it. But still, and we're gonna compare it to the previous one, still it's a nice, let's say, whiskey for newcomers to whiskey, right? Slightly drying at the end, but very creamy palate. So I think this can seduce a lot of people who are new to whiskey. It's not a very long finish. Again, it's more than tame. It's a bit compressed, so, as we could say if it was music. Very compressed, but still the house style is so beautiful, in my opinion, that it still shines despite this heavy treatment. We can't say heavy treatment now with so many whiskies with New York. By the way, you will never see a review here of the Triple Oak Reserve, which is a new reference, because honestly I'm not interested at all of something with virgin oak on top of bourbon, and the reviews are disastrous or very moderately enthusiastic. So I'm not gonna buy this. I'm sorry, it's a n.a.s as well. Some n.a.s are wonderful, but I'm not interested. There's so many new whiskies with virgin oak. Glenfiddich also, not gonna review those unless because I'm not stupid unless I try them by accident, or I don't know how, and oh, it's well made, still virgin oak, but it's down, which happened before with the Lindors I have, for instance. Okay, with water. Win some, lose some. Less creamy, drier, and paradoxically, but there's a lot of air in the bottle, losing complexity, which is very rare in that situation when you put the drops of water, I think. But okay, so rating wise, I don't know, we'll come back to it when I'll do the review. In the past I've been probably too generous. I will not give the 89.5 I gave when I opened the bottle or so. I will probably drop that to 84, 83, or maybe less. I cannot do the count now, so it's not a number rating review, but just a few impressions. Yeah, so I would say not for connoisseurs. Connoisseurs will probably head off more to the 18, despite the 43 only ABV. So value-wise, it's a good, maybe for those who want to do cocktails, but the X is nice as well. This is more interesting, but yeah, so decent whiskey, but a bit too much tamed. Rather a beginner's whiskey, which I recommend for that. I don't know where the coin is gone. I have no idea. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna move on to, like I said, the which also inspired me, this the whole series, the whole idea of revamping. So look at this, it's beautiful. So this is obviously LVMH era, so you see there's more glossy stuff. The cat ball stone is also represented here. Lots of talk also, and yeah, why the noise? Because I had to change the cork. So it's the experimental, so it's local wild yeast. So it's Bill Lumsden, who is a master of head of creation, head distiller and blender. Sir Bill Lumsden, I met him a couple of times. He also takes care nowadays of Ardbeg. So so it's different, he says, from Glenmorangie's house style. So he discovered, I'm not going to tell you the Latin name, a strain of yeast unidentified before then, just as he was hoping. So it's he found that in the barley fields near the distillery that I saw when I visited, and he decided to use it with a superior, he says, ex-Bourbon barrel, including many second fill casks. Yeah, did I tell you first and second fill cask? Yeah. So this one doesn't bear an age statement, as often with the private edition, except for two, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's talk about the private edition for a second. Private edition was launched in 2009. I'm going to be too long again. Maybe I'm going to give all the names and dates when I'll do the video. Yeah, you're right. So there have been 10 releases. It started in 2009 and ended up in 2018. First one was the PX, Sonalta PX version, as you can guess, Pedro Jimenez, very rich, sweet and rich kind of sherry. Second one was the Fine Allta. We're gonna try with the next one of the two next videos. So this one is a number Allta. It's the 10. It's the last one, but I have also the number 6, which is to sell 2015. So this is a 2018 release. 51.2 ABV. Let's see if I can find the sheet, tasting sheet of this. I don't see it there. I don't know why. Oh my god! I need a, you know what? I need a secretary to do my videos to prepare everything, because it's I mean, it's insane. What did I say to sell? Yeah. Okay, so we got the Allta, which I tried first in a shop in 2019. So created with our own wild yeast. It's what it says also. Topped with a kind of whiskey novice. Oops, Jim. And I need water. So I believe these are very lightly, all the series I think are probably very lightly colored, if non-colored for some. Look at this, I don't know if you can see, the legs are sticking, it's super viscous. Quite some time, despite some say it's from 7 to 10 years old content. I'm not sure about that, so take it with a pinch of salt. But aside when I say that, the other informations are rather reliable. On the nose, it's slightly different, but you can still recognize it's what I like in this series. You can still recognize the distillery house style, so herbal, with vanilla, with some, also some spices. Forgot to speak about the spices. Hint of ginger, hint of black pepper, or what was it? No, gray or white pepper, which is different. So less aggressive. Less prickly, or yeah, there's something yeasty indeed. You can feel it is differently made. Did I wrote something special there? Yeah, buttery, hint of banana, pineapple, guava, jasmine and angelica, apricots, yellow peach and white peach, and slightly yeasty beer, like beer. I mean, a bit lager aromas, lager beer style. I mean, yeah, it's very nice, very distinctive, different. Maybe blind, I would not recognize that Glenmorangie. I don't know. Let's go for the palate now. Wow, quite fragrant. The hints of exotic fruit indeed, and something that could very vaguely remind me of later on produced and released Indian whiskey, but what comes across for me are a bit artificial, estery, vitamin-like flavors that did disturb me in this Indian whiskey brand in particular. Here it's more integrated and doesn't sound across as artificial at all. For me, it's my opinion. You might disagree. But if you have tried this, I'm curious of your feedback. It's the latest, so before the Tale of Tokyo, Tale of Cake, which was the first probably. First one was a Tale of Cake, Tale of Winter, then Forest and Tokyo and Ice Cream, and I probably forgot some. Yeah, let's try a few drops. 51.2, mind you. I'll put a few more drops than usual. Nothing interesting in the back label, I'm afraid. But I will come back to this and give you a score, but not there. in the next in the specific video about the private editions. Wow, quite interesting. I really love that young, not really feisty, but young, a bit wild expression. I have one in advance for this one, not for the others, unfortunately. Especially the fine Allta. I would have liked to have 2 other bottles, but I couldn't. I waited too long to buy another one, I think. Yeah, there's something definitely a bit Kleinlichy there. A bit tanninic, Kleinlich, yeah. On the herbal side, but it's still very fragrant, very floral. Lots of fruits, very discreet, but you can see some complexity there. I don't know if I wrote something else on the about palate. Nope, young, yeasty, but sexy. That's what I wrote. Yeah, same, with some quince as well, along with the apricots, peaches, guava, pineapple. Oh no, I didn't note banana. I did note banoffee cake, which is different. Which is kind of chocolatey and banana cake, like a kind of cheesecake, but very nice. Yeah, it's rated very high, but we're gonna go back to rating later on. Last sip, and I go with the Filey Bay, and also the the main argue of this video, which comes later. I apologize. Beautiful, different, still a Glenmorangie. I think if you're in a bar and they have that, I would really recommend you to try it and see what you can do with different work on yeast. Also, my point today was also to regret that Scottish distilleries, except the new generation that's starting to do great things, and experimental as never they did in Scotland, probably thinking of Hollywood Distillery, of course, there. I know Loch Lomond also experiments yeast and stuff, but and distillation with 3 different stills, shapes and styles. Yeah, so the Allta, not to be confused with fine Allta, is a beautiful, youngish but very nice one. Tasting wise, we're gonna go up to England, go down to England to try the Filey Bay, but before that, if you're coming in 15 days in Paris to Salon du Gars, where you could find Springbank, Ardnamurchan, Lochleigh, what else? Stoning, Hautefeuille French Distillery, Roselier French Distillery, Tomatin, and a couple of others, let me know and maybe we can meet there. Otherwise, I know that some of you, the barflies especially, will come to the Whisky Live Paris late September. It's also open on a special press and pro days, the 29. I will be there for 28 and 29. Maybe meet some of you would like to. Yeah, so the idea, when I saw what again, where is the picture? There. When I saw what Filey Bay does with all these releases, and the color are all natural, mind you, natural color, non-chill filtered, I said it's a pity that Glenmorangie nowadays doesn't do that, doesn't work with that. Let's put that here, because they could do wonders. While also, and it's the time I will speak about another distillery which is French. When was it? 2022. 2022, there was an event that went under the radar for most of people, including me. I'm sorry about that. And in this event, Whisky Live Paris 2022, there was a distillery, French distillery, doing a masterclass. The French distillery is Chateau du Breuil, who produces Calvados for ages, but did start lately to produce whiskies. And what did I do? They did something I really have to get me that I couldn't yet, I'm sorry. It's this. It's a box with 20 cl bottles of 3 different barley used for this, with the same distillate. Le Breuil is the brand of the single malt and the blended malt, and you can find those in UK, mind you, in some shops. And what did they do? They do a masterclass about barley and barley varieties, lost barley varieties, etc. Look at this. These are not all the varieties, but there are some of the varieties they're trying to revive. I'm going to speak again about this. Why did I say that? These are captures of the masterclass. Because they did see that 75% of the different barley varieties did disappear in less than 1 century. 8 different variety of barley uses 83% of the harvested surfaces. On the 8 varieties, there's only 2 that uses 65% of the surface. So yield, yes. So it's printemps, orge de printemps. Oh man, English now failing. Printemps, it's the spring, I think. Planet, and for winter it's Étincelle, the name of the barley varieties. Planet even covers 78 of the surface, and it's the same for all French regions. We have a lot of barley in the French. In fact, we're probably the first one in Europe to do. People do not know to produce barley. Very few varieties that are allowed and used. Why? Because they're used for the high yield, resistance to diseases, and richness in amidon. I forgot what is amidon, which is in the barley seed. So high yield in alcohol. Also, the standardized taste for this kind of contemporary barleys, and when they use old barley varieties, it's minus 20 to 30% yield. So that's why they're not used. But Le Breuil and other distilleries want to use that because there's more for them. There's more. There's less yield. I gotta. Sorry. It's not professional. I apologize. Amidon in English. Amidon. Oh, I'm sorry. I always forget something. Starch, of course. It's starch, which is within the barley seed, right? So those old varieties, it's what they say here. So I translated for you. They have less yield in starch, and the envelope. But the envelope has a more micronutrients, as they say, for more flavor, texture, and protection against pollution. So they want to re-establish the biodiversity in agriculture to do something more healthy. Also, those old varieties doesn't need a lot of water, and they depend less on pesticides. So that's why they want to use them. Last, I'm going to finish with that. So they want to come back to what some call heritage barley varieties. So they use Chevalier, they use Plumage Archer, and Aurore. 2021 were the first trials, and 2023 they have a big document to validate that they did present to the press. Oh, there you can see them. The 3 with the varieties they did already release. They mistake on the spelling of Maris Otter, as I did before. For those who don't know, Maris Otter has also been used in French whiskies before through the Celtic whiskey distillery Glenmorangie or Cornog when it's spitted release. But the idea for me was, is this not for some distillery like Glenmorangie, which is so famous for, being near the sea, being experimenting about finishes, being experimenting about other things. Sorry, especially now with the new distillery. I figure out, because I was a bit disappointed also, got to tell you, about the current range, which is Quinta Ribbon, or you're gonna disagree maybe, but La Santa, for me the middle of the range is weak, too oaky, too spicy. Even the Nectar d'Or, who's now renamed the Nectar, doesn't only rely on Sauterne, and I'm not happy about that. So before I tell you what I will do instead, let's come back very quickly. First, experiments 1987 for Glenmorangie. I'm going to put that just for the sake of the topic. Maybe with... So I'm not trying this today, mind you, but... So this is what they're known for. 1987 first sherry Oloroso cask finish, then port 1994, Madeira, then Tin l'Hermitage, because there's the French wine called Tin l'Hermitage, T-A-Y-N, the same name as the village, where the town where the Scottish distillery is, so it's a play of words, it's a wink. Burgundy wine, Claret, Finot, Cognac, Côte de Beaune, Côte de Nuit, Côte de Rhône, Sauterne. I'm naming here all the main casks they did use. In 2001 they did also another port finish. 2002, 20 years old Sauterne. I never had the occasion. The Tin l'Hermitage, the 22 or 24 years old, not sure. I did try it in Glenmorangie in 2002. I was the only one to try it between the 10 winners of the show, of the trip, and it blew me away and comforted me to pay more interest to this distillery. 2004 new 28 years old Tin l'Hermitage, I tried it, beautiful. 2005 30 years old was released. 2008, so the precursor of the private edition, there was a special release called Allta, which was very interesting, high strength. And then there was a Signet with chocolate malt, heavy roasted malt, bit of New Oak as well, as I understand it, and etc. etc. Current core range now has also something that's more UK, I think, distributed, and you can find sometime travel retail. It's a Cadboll estate. The Cadboll house is where I did stay. They're using 8 fields of local barley for this, for that. So they have now a 12 years old bourbon, like I say, replacing the 10. They have a triple cask reserve. They have a tail of, currently, the tail of ice cream with also New Oak. Quinta Ribbon now, the port and bourbon is a 14 years old instead of 12. They have also Paro Cortado, Malaga, Amontillado, 12 years old for most of those ones. 3 13 years old cognac cask. They're 19 years old. They have 2 versions of Signet, by the way, and a new 25 years old bourbon and Madeira finished. I'm very curious to try that, called the Altest. So you know everything about this. But what I tried to do, Let me try to show it there. Oops. Is to reinvent the core range. And this is not exactly the same info as in black and white, but yeah, for the last one I was thinking of maybe 12 to 20 plus years old, but you can pause it. I put a copyright, but it's not really copyrighted. So here's what I did imaging for the new core range. So something that has to be adapted cost-wise, unfortunately, and wide. People don't understand that, and wide distribution-wise also. So I still kept 10 years old at 43% instead of 40. It's a compromise, but it's entry level. So the original with same recipe and the peated 10 years old, first and refill bourbon plus peated casks. Probably from Ardbeg, because the same parent company. The Quinta Riban, 12 years old, I come back to this recipe, so less aggressive oak and more sweet port. The sherry finish, same idea, 46 of course, and I add a permanent Madeira finish, an old rum finish like they did a long time ago, and a red wine finish that could allow it to be ex-Burgundy or ex-Bordeaux according to the possibilities, as it will be core range, would be. It's fun play, it's nothing, I mean. Then I imagined the return of the Fino Sherry, 12 years old as well, and a 12 years old high strength, which 60% bourbon, mix of first and refill, and 35% sherry, probably different kind of sherry. For the 16 years old, I'm coming back, ex the Nectar, I'm coming back to, or Nectar d'Or, to Sauterne finish with only first fill bourbon and refill and 4 years or more of finishing. And then I revamp the 18 years old, and I call it the Liquid Orchard. I'll never remember, sorry, Orchard House. I never remember. Bourbon and sherry finish, 46. For the 25 years old, I stick to bourbon and sherry, but maybe the Madeira was a good idea. For the Signet, I changed the recipe, still letting new oak if it's needed, but adding crystal malt, as was beautifully displayed in Bushmills 1608, you might heard of. And the Signet Reserve, I changed it to the peated Signet, with maybe a hint of STR, of sweet wine, involved, but very, very tiny, just to add more sweetness. Then I go into a new series, which will be called Barley Variations series, which we will explore Golden Promise. A first version with bourbon only cask, not entering into details, but it's all there. Another version with sherry cask, which is usually Golden Promise is associated most often with sherry cask. In the first, I think one of the first Scottish distilleries that used that is the Macallan, and also of course Karizawa in Japan. We use a lot Golden Promise. Now there are other distilleries bringing this, and Le Breuil did release a nice Golden Promise. I tried the three, they're beautiful, the French Le Breuil, and then one with Maris Otter, and I selected just at random between the sheets I showed you from Le Breuil, two possible varieties with an interrogation point, not sure about that. Maybe a version with Prisma and another with Triumph, with the same base for all, which is a 70% refill bourbon, 30% first fill, if it works. Like that. And then 4 different releases on more limited base, these ones too, by the way, Palo Cortado sherry finish, but very delicately made. A Pinot Noir finish, a Côte Rôtie finish, and a Champagne finish that they did, but too rarely. So yeah, there you have it. This is just an idea, maybe a silly one for you. And I'd like to finish the video with 1 year after, 1.5 after, a bottling from a distillery who for me nails it. Maybe not enough experimenting in different barleys and yeast yet, yeah sure, but maybe it will come. Topped by the last drop, hope he's still somewhere there. And this is natural color, and did I wrote the age of this? 5 to 6 years plus 2 or 3 years, so probably close to 8 years, 7-8 years old. So English whiskey, to celebrate English whiskey success. And also because this has really mellowed out and very well evolved. I was a bit worried at the beginning because it was very expensive. This is not on sale here. I had to, thanks to David Thompson, who kindly sent it to me, because normally it's distillery exclusive, but I bought it. And with shipping and taxes, 140 euros. It was a lot, but I don't regret it. So super delicate nose, in which now the Madeira adds without erasing the bourbon and the distillery house style, which is very delicate malt and slightly herbal and slightly floral style. Eurocanase immediately the Madeira influence, with those sweet fruits, with those kind of honeyish, butterish, greenish elements. But there's something bright, there's something lively. Oh, it's super complex stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna. Oh, I did rate it. I don't have the file here, unfortunately. Ooh, that's a mistake. I don't have the time. Oh, yes, it is there. Whew, relieved. Yeah, I didn't update the rating, so I have to do it. I'm not gonna tell you now. Yeah, really gorgeous. 55%. I'm gonna add a few drops. Really gorgeous, and once again, quartz walls, Spirit of Yorkshire, stunning, even if it goes a bit all over the place. Artesia and Armoric at a certain extent as well. They're doing great core range wise. Almost acidulous red fruit coming on now. Slightly, but very pleasant. A bit of burst of spices as well. A bit of ginger. Cinnamon, not sure. Oh man, it's gorgeous. I wish I could get all the Yorkshire Day releases and all the limited editions, but I can't. Also being in France. But you guys should pay more attention, and there's one I got here, which was one of the whiskies of the year as well. If you can't find the Sherry Cask Reserve 3, couldn't taste the 4, which is not on sale here apparently. This is absolutely gorgeous, and this is Fino Sherry. All these have been reviewed in link below in the channel before. Yeah, so Glenmorangie, Filey, Spirit of Yorkshire, there is a connection. it is limited regarding the choice of production of Glenmorangie owner, but it could be closer. It is gorgeous. Anyway, this is very long, but it was expected. Hope you will find this interesting. I will come back with something a bit shorter soon, but maybe you'll have to wait a bit because we're entering now in 15 days. Maybe I will record one before. But I got someone visiting me with a novelty, and spoiler, it's French, and looking forward to that because it's a nice brand I really appreciate, and I think they're doing great. Even if they just starting. Spoiler, I already talked about them, and it's not a single malt. If you know, you know. See you soon.